Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 27 now of Exploring the North Shore. I'm Jay, and guess who's back?
It's me. I'm back. I'm here again. I'm so happy to be back. I've missed the podcast probably more than work, honestly. Like, I missed having that purpose with work, but it was like the podcast was my little baby, my extra thing that I get all excited about all the time.
So Martha is here. She is very excited. She's like squirming around. I wish you guys could see her right now. She's like jumping up and down and like rolling. No, I'm not that extreme. But
yes, I roll.
She
everywhere.
rolled.
In my head, I'm rolling on the floor uncontrollably.
So we finally kind of worked out. Oh, I know I've been teasing the bucket list episode for a while.
We'll get there.
We are going to get there. We wanted to kind of insert this one now because it's a little more timely, and
like everything that happened during quarantine, that kind of just fell to the side.
Yep. We are planning it still. Don't you worry. Like 3 years from now, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, we're totally going to do the bucket list episode. No, I'm just kidding.
It's coming.
It will probably be next week.
Yes, we will do it. We promise.
Yes. This week, to put this into context, we are recording this portion of the podcast episode on May 21st. So the governor's stay-at-home orders for Minnesota ended on May 18th. So right now we are like day 3 of kind of the soft reopening of the state. And not a whole lot, I mean, in my opinion, like looking around and driving around, not a whole lot has changed.
No, personally for me, it's like I just feel less bad about leaving my house. Like I don't feel like I'm breaking all the rules by stepping outside.
Yeah, so it's a little more like, oh, we can move around a little bit. Okay, but not a whole lot of retail stores have reopened. So non-essential retail store, wow, I can speak.
Tongue twister.
Non-essential retail stores, there we go, nailed it, can reopen. A few have in some form, but not a whole lot. And I know some are kind of planning this to open this weekend because it is Memorial Day, but a lot are still going to keep their doors closed and operate on like a curbside pickup type structure. Same thing for restaurants. Legally in Minnesota, restaurants cannot open in dining services, but you can do pickup and curbside. So totally allowed. You can call in your order, or some places can have your order placed online and you can then go pick it up and then eat your food either back at home or in your rental or in your hotel, wherever you're staying, or take it to a park or a beach. Our beaches are open here. And I say that because they're not, I don't think we even have any city-run beaches, do we?
No, we don't, which is going back to when I first moved here, that was a thing because I did lifeguard at the beach. So that was one thing my mom questioned was like, does Cook County have any city-run beaches? And I was like, I don't think so. I've never heard of any. Like, I don't think there is a lifeguarded beach along the North Shore at all.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this in Minneapolis, you will already know that the Minneapolis city-run beaches have been closed for the entire summer. And they did that a while ago. I want to say back in March.
They did that right away. Right when things started to shut down, they just nixed beaches for the whole summer. And
it's going to be harder to enjoy the beach. But up here, since we don't have as many people, we don't have lifeguarded beaches. So Lake Superior isn't exactly a swimming lake. You can try. And I see people do it all the time. And I think those people are crazy. It is cold.
Well, the difference with the like part of Lake Superior we get here on this part of the North Shore versus Duluth has the huge sandbar. So the sun hits it constantly and it's super shallow, so that does warm up. But here by the shore, it's like sometimes it completely just drops off. Yeah. So like there's no way for that water to get warm at all.
So there is no beach swimming. Well, I mean, you can if you want to, if you really feel like it. I sometimes put my feet in and then I'm like, okay, that's enough. I'm good. I'm getting right out right now. And we're going to touch a little bit too on water safety and water temperatures in just a minute. But first, Martha, have you heard anything about the Duluth beach at Park Point?
I have not yet. which is odd because I have been talking to my old supervisor in Duluth about the madness of everything going on there. I have not heard. I know the Ys aren't, now we've heard the Ys aren't allowed to open for a while. They don't even have a set date for it.
Yeah,
so
gyms and things like that, like fitness centers, which I'm pretty sure the Y in their full capacity would fall under.
Yeah.
I do know why childcare has remained open because childcare centers can, but the actual fitness portion of it, those are part of phase either 3 or 4. It's kind of unclear.
Don't even have dates.
No dates.
No dates.
So it will probably be a while before the Duluth Y is able to reopen.
Yeah, and the Y is the one who mans the little section of beach that is lifeguarded. So if the Y is not able to open, I don't see them being able to staff the beach house if officially they're not open.
So unclear as of now what will happen with the Duluth beach. That is, I believe, the closest manned beach. Other beaches you're going to find along the North Shore, like Black's Beach in Silver Bay, that is city run, and I haven't heard anything from that yet.
Isn't that I wanted to say it was a state park, but that's not,
It's
is it?
not a state park. It used to be private property, actually. They just opened it. Well, we'll have to do a whole story on Black's Beach. Actually, I touched on Black's Beach a little tiny bit in my Silver Bay history episode. So if you want to hear a little bit about that. That was supposed to be kind of like a big year for Silver Bay this year with their campground opening. And that is something that is currently closed, is established campgrounds. And if I'm remembering correctly, those are part of the June 1st soft opening. So May 18th was like the soft opening of some things. And then there's like a second round of soft openings starting June 1st. And then the third round, that's kind of more of a hard open. And then the fourth round is like, oh, we're back to normal. Those do not have dates attached to them yet. So we can't say what's going to happen there. And with restaurants, they can start outdoor dining. So that's if you have a patio space, you can set up your patio space. I think they said like 25% capacity. So very, very, very few tables. There will not be much room on the North Shore to dine outside. I can think of a handful of places off the top of my head that have outdoor seating.
Voyager has the
upstairs, the
upper
loft
part.
Gunflint Tavern.
The tavern has the upper part. Sometimes the taco place has like 2 tables with chairs outside. Yeah. I'm not sure if they'll do that because that just seems kind of weird to only have 2 seating places. Dairy Queen, you can sit outside.
Yeah, there's a couple benches there.
What else is there? Sister's Place has the outdoor part, right? I
imagine Sister's Place will set up at some point their outdoor seating. I don't know if that will happen right on June 1st. Again, a lot of places up here, even if they can open, they are choosing not to, or choosing kind of their own path to opening. Like Trail Center.
I'm kind of used to the curbside, honestly. Like, that's kind of the new norm right now is I'm going to call my order, have it already paid for, and all I have to do is go pick it up.
And then eat it wherever you want. Nobody has to see you do it. So another example is like Trail Center, which is up on the Gunflint Trail. That has actually converted their main restaurant into a grocery store since the trail.
Really? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
I did not.
Yeah, they got rid of their dining area temporarily and turned it into a full grocery store for Gunflint Trail residents.
Oh.
So they don't have to come all the way to Grand Marais to get groceries. That's and some, awesome. That's a 60-mile drive for the people at the end of the trail. So this was a huge benefit to the Gunflint Trail community. Now they are going to reopen their restaurant in a certain capacity, I guess you could say. And what that is going to mean is they're putting outdoor seating, I think very, very limited like picnic benches outside, and then the rest are just going to be takeout. So the restaurant is still there. You can still get food from there. You're just not going to go into it and sit down and eat, which kind of makes me sad because I love whenever I go into Trail Center and I sit down at a table and I start looking around, I notice things I've never noticed before.
I went for the first time to the Trail Center last summer, and it's a sight to see. Like, you look around and there's so much history in there. Like the mail run?
Oh, yeah.
They have all of that stuff up there. And like, I honestly very guiltily did not know anything about that. And so like sitting in there and looking around and just like, what's that from? Like, it's a really neat place to like go in if you actually ever get the opportunity to.
It's almost like its own little mini like Gunflint Trail Museum with officially. But yeah, there's like stuffed animals and not like stuffed animals, but like what's it called when you have like an animal and
Taxidermy?
Taxidermied animals. Thank you. I was like the thing that guy on that Bates Motel movie does. Psycho. There we go. I swear my brain is working, you guys. It's just been a very long week.
It's only the first like real official week back to work. We still kind of got to get our thoughts back together.
So it's been pretty crazy, and there are lots of changes happening. Another thing I will say is the North Shore, at least Cook County, and things are a bit different in Lake County than they are in Cook County, but especially in Cook County, if you're coming up, expect to definitely pack a mask and expect to wear it a lot.
I know Bucks for sure is requiring masks to go in. I don't really shop anymore, so I can't really say for other places, but I know for sure Bucks is you need to wear a mask if you're coming in.
Yeah, and even so right now for this episode, we are going to be featuring basically an introduction to what the next, pretty much the whole summer, I'm guessing, is going to be like for the podcast. And that is featuring outdoor activities that you can do while maintaining social distancing. Things that you can do outside, away from other people. And just, if that's what you're looking for. So we're not going to places that are going to be crowded with people, because unfortunately, those things aren't even going to happen this year. There's not going to be the events. We've already seen Grandma's Marathon, the Lutz and 99er, Fisherman's Picnic, Bay Days, almost, I don't know everything, but I know there was a good chunk of things when I checked last that were canceled at the Bayfront Festival Park. So all that Duluth stuff that happens at Bayfront is canceled. The only thing I haven't seen yet, I haven't heard word on yet, is Voyager Days in Two Harbors. Otherwise, every major event, like the art colony and the boat show, all those things are not happening this year. So if you're coming up for a major event, you're probably going to be changing your plans in some way because they're just not happening. And I think that's everywhere. So I'm pretty sure most people are going to be used to that. But going into stores up here, maybe down in the cities or even in Duluth, it's optional to wear masks, but up here they're actually asking for people to do it. And in this episode, we're heading to Rockwood Lodge, which is up mid-Gunfront Trail area. And we're going to speak with the owner, Carl Madsen, up there, because he has even developed a face mask policy. If you're just outside, like if you're interacting with other people outside, you should wear a face mask. And you'll see that around town in Grand Marais. People kind of milling around on the corner talking, and they're all wearing masks. And especially, the Highway Minnesota Department of Transportation has started their really awesome highway construction project on Highway 61 going through the town of Grand Marais. And if you were unaware of this, you should absolutely be aware with it. It happened to coincide with the same day that the stay-at-home orders ended. So on May 18th, there were road signs up, there were detours. How you get to Holiday is quite the adventure. And you're going to notice more and more of road construction happening from pretty much the moment you enter Grand Marais.
And if you pay attention to some of the road construction signs, you may find something pretty hilarious.
We're going to call this the Easter egg hunt. So if you can spot the hilarious road sign that we are referencing and snap a picture of it, you should send it to us. Maybe we'll give you something in return because it's pretty funny.
Pretty funny.
Donna, I know you're listening to this. You are not allowed to submit because you're the reason I even know about it. So everybody else can. Maybe Donna, if you know who I'm talking about here, can lead you to it. Okay, so wear masks. Plan to wear masks. The other thing that came up, so yesterday we recorded this section and we decided to not use the audio we recorded yesterday, but re-record it because as we were driving up to Rockwood yesterday, we were passed by several emergency vehicles. So on the way to Rockwood, I believe it was 4 vehicles passed us. And while we were there, we heard at least one, maybe even 2 more.
Yep, with the sirens go by.
Yep, sirens on, lights flashing, and they were booking it. And we were like, oh man, the Boundary Waters has only been open for 2 days. So that was another thing that happened on May 18th was overnight camping in the Boundary Waters opened up. Now, it had been open for day use for, you could get a day permit, but you couldn't get an overnight permit until the 18th. So we were 2 days into this, opening that a lot of people had been fighting for because they thought, what a better place to social distance and kind of get away from other people than the Boundary Waters. Because you'll probably see a few people while you're there because it's a pretty popular place to go, but it's so big that even with a bunch of people in there, and they do control the number of people that go in every day by the permit system. So you might interact and see a few people, but you're not going to do so in the way you would in a town or even, just going around other parts of Cook County. But the worry was that if there was an emergency, the amount of people that is required to handle an emergency, especially one on the Boundary Waters, is pretty massive. I mean,
takes multiple a lot of resources.
Yeah, multiple departments respond. So it's like Border Patrol and Sheriff's Department, Search and Rescue, the fire departments from all up and down the Gunflint Trail. There are several different fire departments there, rescue squads. There's a lot of people involved. And we saw that yesterday. And we decided to re-record this for this purpose. What had happened was on Tuscarora Lake, a boat capsized, and tragically, a 29-year-old man did drown. And this was, 2 days into the opening of the Boundary Waters. Now, we don't know any other details about this. We don't know if he was a visitor. We don't know if he was a local. We don't know the circumstances of what happened other than what they're reporting, which is a boat capsized. There was a canoe with 3 people in it. 2 people were able to swim to an island, and 1 person did not make it. Search and rescue came up, and there was multiple departments, dozens of people that responded, and they spent a couple hours looking for him, and I believe they found him shortly before 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so this all happened. We were driving up there around 2.
Yeah.
So to have all those vehicles rush past us for 2 hours, they were doing this search and rescue mission. So all these people had to come together who had otherwise been not together and had been purposely not being together. And we saw the same thing with the fires back in April, where everybody was social distancing and staying home and not really doing much. And then all of a sudden 3 fire departments are shoulder to shoulder putting out this fire. Plus, like you said, people.
Yep, all the people. I think they had to start calling people away, and people were posting on Facebook, like, stay away from downtown. Don't crowd them. Give them the space they need to work. Like, just go home. We know this is huge and exciting. Not exciting, clearly, in a good way, but like, we've all been cooped up in our houses and something big is happening downtown. Like, we all have to be there. But it's better if you're not there.
So things like a rescue and things like a fire and things like an emergency really bring out a lot of people who then have to interact that otherwise wouldn't. So that was part of the hesitation with opening up the Boundary Waters. And an example of that happened almost right away. I hope it's not a bad omen. I don't think it's going to be a bad omen. I think maybe people are going to be more aware now. But the big thing is, be smart about being safe. That's kind of the governor's quote, and we're kind of taking that on. So the 2 things I want to emphasize is be smart about being safe, and then plan ahead if you're coming up to the North Shore. So to be smart about being safe means do your normal safety things that you would do doing activities up here, and then step it up. So if you go boating, and the legal requirement if you're on a boat is that there is a life jacket present for each person on the boat, not that each person is wearing them. So take it the next step and wear your life jackets. Yeah. I've mentioned already in this podcast that Lake Superior is freaking cold all the time. Yeah. And the inland lakes get warm, but right now, the ice, they just iced out like a few days ago in some cases. Mm-hmm. And there was still snow on the Gunflint Trail when we were up there yesterday. In fact, if you are a fan of our TikTok channel, which is at Exploring North Shore, you would have seen Martha and I building snowmen in the little bit of snow left in the ditch.
Oh, my little snowman family.
It was 76 degrees up there yesterday. It was so nice. It was so warm. And we built snowmen because there is still snow. So the lakes are still very, very cold. They have not had the time yet to warm up. And even if you are a really, really, really good swimmer and you're young and you're athletic and you're like, I'm healthy, I'm not going to drown.
Or lifeguard certified. I don't know if I ever told you that story of the year that there were icebergs in Lake Superior still like halfway through June. Me and my brother just one day during the summer with my one of my old best friends, who, by the way, was the only not lifeguard certified person, we decided we were going to go to our old favorite spot down off the lake walk and just go jump off the rocks into the water. Thank God, where we jumped in, we could still touch, because the minute our bodies hit the water, we could not move. So, like I said, we were so lucky that we jumped in where we could stand, because I was using my arms that did not go into the water to, like, help myself get to shore. Learned my lesson. We'll never do it again. But that's just, I'm a great swimmer. I've swum my entire life. Waterfront certified, lifeguard certified. Could not do anything to help myself, really.
And just think, if you are having a hard time swimming in the cold water, the people coming to rescue you,
yeah,
I mean, you're gonna have to wait for them to suit up. They're gonna put their wetsuits on to come get you.
And as we saw, it takes a long time for the vehicles and rescue to get there from where they are. You are all the way up the trail. I, for the first time, went all the way up the trail. It's a long drive. It's a really long drive.
So wear your life jackets. If you're going to go biking, wear a helmet. If you're going to go biking, wear a helmet and tell somebody
where you're going.
And then roughly when you're going to be back. So
or,
that
if they're
just
like, don't go biking alone.
Yeah, don't go
buddy
biking
system.
alone.
Buddy system.
There you go. Don't go hiking alone. Take your family unit with you. And just kind of always be conscious. Be like, oh, should I walk to the edge of this cliff? Maybe not this time. We hear these stories every year. Somebody lost their dog when they fell off a cliff in Cascade. There was actually a young girl who died a few years ago at Palisade Head.
Yep. That was right.
This stuff happens every year. And this year, I mean, it's terrible and it's horrible and it's tragic every single year. And I hope some year we can, like, get to a year where it's like, oh, everything was fine. Everybody's good. Everybody came and they enjoyed themselves and they left and it was wonderful.
Yep.
And until then, just these responses require a lot of people. So just in your head, be like, is this action I'm about to take, could it potentially cause an issue? And if the answer is yes, just don't do it. So be smart about being safe, but still have fun. I mean, you can
absolutely still enjoy the North Shore and all it has to offer, but still be safe.
Yes. So we are going to go talk with Carl Madsen, the owner of Rockwood Lodge and Outfitters, that is located again on Poplar Lake, Mid-Gunflint Trail. So we are going to go now to that interview with Carl, and I do want to apologize for the audio, because we actually did not wear masks during the interview, but we were sitting on like a porch of the shower house, and Martha and I were on one end in a couple of chairs, and he was on the other end, probably about 10 feet apart from each other. Mm-hmm. And then in between us, I put the microphone. So we weren't sharing a microphone. We weren't speaking into something that somebody else would eventually speak into. I literally sat on a chair and we sat down and had a conversation. So we are about 5 feet apart from the microphone and then 10 feet apart from each other.
And not only that.
Oh, yeah.
But they're chopping down trees, so you're just hearing saws throughout most of it also.
Which is a good thing. Firewise has learned from the Ham Lake fire from, years ago. I think we discussed that in one of our episodes of the podcast. There's a massive fire up there. So now Firewise comes up and they take down dead trees and trees that could cause potential fire danger. And Carl was saying that you're going to hear that the trees being cut down like all summer long. But we wanted to do the interview outside in a safe way. So that was just something we had to deal with. So yes, you will hear the trees. They stop at one point for like 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, usable audio. But we're going to put the whole interview in there just because Carl had so much information, so much advice, and just so much stuff that I think we can all learn from and take away. And we discuss what it's like right now for those people traveling up to the North Shore. So let's jump to that interview with Carl now. This podcast episode is sponsored by Cascade Vacation Rentals. They know that life has a tendency to be overwhelming at times, and busy schedules often leave people feeling overwhelmed and disconnected. That's why they're here, to offer you the space and opportunity to reconnect to what's important. Cascade Vacation Rentals has one of the largest selections of privately owned vacation rental homes and cabins on Minnesota's North Shore of Lake Superior, from Duluth to the Canadian border. Their team is there to help you and your family or small group enjoy a vacation you'll remember for years to come. Visit them online at www.cascadevacationrentals.com. And don't forget to use promo code PODCAST for the largest % off discount available at any given time. Again, that's www.cascadevacationrentals.com. Our first social distancing interview. I'm actually turning this way. Maybe that can block out some of the noise. I don't know how well that will work. So we are here today with Carl.
Hi, I'm Carl Madsen at Rockwood Lodge.
And you're the owner.
Yep, yeah, there's 4 of us actually. Me, my wife, her sister, and her husband.
And then you guys have owned this place for this your 6th year?
5th year, yep.
5th year.
Yep.
Oh.
So 2015 we bought it. We came up from Minneapolis.
Oh wow! I just decided to buy a resort.
Well, I've been coming up here since '89. Okay. I was the guest that kept coming back, and then I was the maintenance guy, and then So it was a lot of fun.
Worked your way in there.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how are you feeling about this summer?
Well, we're actually looking pretty good. We let's say, we blocked out a bunch of rooms between cabin rentals. So we kind of knocked our own inventory down by 20, 30, 40%. So in that way, each cabin rental has a big space between each one. And then, so our 8 cabins will probably be down, anywhere between 30 and 40% off from last year. Last year was a banner year. This year was going to be a banner year too, yeah. So we've been growing by 10, 15% every year. So, but outfitting is looking really strong. I mean, there's been a lot of people booking trips in the last few days. Phones just going crazy, and we have a lot of trips going on. A lot less big trips like the Boy Scouts.
Oh yeah.
None of those, and then. We don't do the transports, so we don't pile 9 people into the van and carry them off to the Boundary Waters. Most of the people go right into Liz Lake, right across the lake here on Poplar.
I'm planning one of those at some point this summer.
Yes.
I think we actually have a permit already.
Good.
Sometime in July.
Yeah, the permits are going fast. Yeah. It's really going to be a banner year, I think, because people are so sick of being tied up and sequestered that they want to get out. And they see this as their ideal spot, but we've got a lot of overhead when we do this kind of thing. There's a hospital, there's grocery stores, there's emergency services, all those people, and we have to think about each and every one of those when we say, okay, we're going out into the Boundary Waters and putting up a tent.
And it is applicable today because as we were driving here, we were passed by several emergency vehicles. Another one has passed since we got here. So something is happening. Something is happening.
Yeah, there's some kind of an emergency event today. We don't know exactly what it is. We hear that ambulance, once or twice a summer, not very often. And here it is, May 20th, and we already heard it. So kind of a bad omen already. So
yeah.
Let's hope not.
And it's been so dry. We are just right on the edge of really creating a huge problem right now. Yeah. And they just lifted the fire ban, which I'm not exactly a fan of because we have just a tinderbox going on right now. Lack of rain, and we got all these people who are just wanting to get out into the Boundary Waters and do a campfire. So,
do you think they're going to put the fire ban back on?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so. I think there's too much political pressure.
We'll get this rain we're supposed to get over there.
Yeah. Saturday, Sunday, Memorial Day weekend. A nice rainy Memorial Day
hoping for a thunderstorm.
Yeah, and June's our rainiest month, so we're looking forward to it. So.
Yeah. And now, guests can stay here. Are you still going to be operating the bathhouse?
Yep, we have it's a shower house. We closed the sauna, so no sauna this year. But we have 2 bathrooms with showers in them. So, yeah.
I need a sauna.
We'll build you a sauna. It's okay. I know the Y is closed down.
Yeah.
We don't know anybody with a private sauna.
No.
Just
Yep.
build it.
We'll build it.
Yep.
And then, so you have the Boundary Waters outfitting. You do
Yep.
have cabins here.
Yep. 8 cabins. Yep.
8 cabins. And then you have day rentals, correct?
Yep. And day rentals, there's a whole bunch of different ways to do that, really. I mean, you can just rent a canoe and go out on Poplar. You can rent a canoe and go into the Boundary Waters as well. You can go up to Duncan Lake and check out the waterfall at Stairway Portage. You can put in here and go through Liz and get down to Horseshoe and back easily within a day, and get to see all the beautiful, the lakes. There's a really good chance that you're going to see wildlife too, because Horseshoe is known for its moose population. So.
Terrified of moose. Don't tell me that, because
You should be. They are big and scary.
They are terrifying.
Oh god, that where we bucks the other day.
Oh yeah, there's
The moose
those.
they have in there is
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
And you just saw a moose.
Yeah, we have them walk right up this road. There's, it's pretty common. This is a little corner they like to take because it goes right up by the gun flint.
Okay.
To the. So we get a lot of moose in this area.
We have a ton of droppings on our farm. And every time I show up, I'm like, oh, that's a new one. That's a new one. They've been here.
Yeah.
And I do think it's really funny, too. It is right now 75, 76 degrees.
It's hot out, yeah.
It is so nice. There's still snow on the ground, though.
Yep.
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 So-
There's right there.
Yep, right there.
Oh, we
So-
can build our sad snowman.
We're going to build a sad snowman.
There you go.
That's the point. And I'm guessing the lake is still pretty cold.
Yeah, it's not bad. Right at the edge, it gets nice and warm because the sun keeps through. But down in the center of the lake, yeah, I mean, this is the worst time of year to fall out of a canoe.
Yeah.
So please wear your life vest whenever you go into any kind of water boat or any sort. Even if you're in a regular boat where it's, you just have to have it in the boat, just wear it, especially this time of year. That shock once you get underwater, doesn't matter how good a swimmer you are, if you go into shock, you're
you
done.
won't do anything. Yeah.
We lost conservation officers last year, so it's people who know what they're doing. They still don't wear a life vest, and they still die.
And I think we're doing this whole feature on boating, and that's a safe option, or safer option, I guess, for social distancing, because you can take a canoe in the middle of a lake with just your family, and you're all good, but then there are dangers still involved.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a problem with this year, because this whole new situation that we have with the COVID, all the other issues are now in the back burner.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're still there. They're still alive and they're still kicking. We're still worried about fire. We're still worried about people drowning. We're still worried about, property values. Just simple things, but, everybody's got the number one issue on their mind.
Yeah. True. You guys holding on okay up here?
Yeah, I mean, what a great place to rest out and hang out with the COVID, right? So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As long as we can try to stay clean and clear, we're asking every single one of our customers to wear a mask when we talk to them. And we're sanitizing. We've bought a lot of Lysol, and we're using a lot of bleach water, doing a lot of cleaning. And like I said, we have the gap built in between each one of the rentals. So we got brand new mattresses this year that we can wipe off. Perfect timing for that. So we can keep things pretty clean and clear, but it takes a lot of common sense on the customer's part too.
And then, what are your suggestions for people who want to come up and want to just be here?
Yeah.
What sort of recommendations do you have?
Well, again, you got to follow the governor's recommendations. We're not advocating that you break any laws or anything. If you are not needing to travel and it's not a required thing, then really you shouldn't. We're still open. We're taking reservations. We have a livelihood to make, and we're not going to tell somebody whether they're going to follow the law or not. So it's a catch-22. You can't really win that one. There's only one hospital in town. It has very limited ICU capability, very limited ability to serve the customers that they already has, let alone this monster influx that happens every summer.
And I think that's, we say always there's 16 hospital beds, but there's really not 16 hospital beds, because they're still treating the people from the care center and people from town who need care. So there's maybe at any given time, like 6 or 7
Yeah.
beds.
Yeah, that ambulance today wasn't a COVID, you know?
No.
So
That
that's
was
something that's going to need a hospital bed. And,
Yeah.
you know, we're going to get a lot more of that this summer, and it's going to reduce our capability. So the more people that come up and vacation, you know, it's just going to add to the problem. So, you know, but I'm not turning them away. So
It's the really good year to be really safe.
yeah,
To do everything, like, and that's the thing, that the situation is inherently not safe.
right,
There's nothing safe about it, but you can do certain actions to minimize the risk, I guess.
right. Yeah, and there's a lot of people out there who are just cavalier about it, and it's not something that I take lightly. So it's important to me that we treat everybody with respect and give them the distance that they need, and that we understand that people come from different, you know, political backgrounds or whatever it is, and they're going to have different desires. But you know, we're running a business and we're trying to keep everybody safe. So that's we have a face mask policy and we're going to follow it.
Good. And then I noticed you have 2 new stand-up paddleboards this year. Now
Yeah.
that's new for you guys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We had stand up the smaller ones last couple of years, and they're for our cabin guests. But these are actually tripper
Oh.
stand up paddleboards that you can take into the Boundary Waters. They have a place to put your gear, and we've had some conversations with people who've done it, and they really liked it. So, and our Liz Lake entry point is just perfect for a stand-up paddleboard entry point, because it's such a simple little entry and such beautiful small little lakes that are combined. So we're excited about it, and I'm going to give it a go myself and see what it feels like. And I love working with stand-up paddleboards. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've just recently come into like knowledge. I mean, I know they've existed, but I was
Right.
like, you know, I used to surf, so this
Yeah.
is kind of cool to
Yeah,
have something that's sort of similar. And I was looking into that for going into the Boundary Waters. I don't know if I'd want it to be my first Boundary Waters
Right.
trip, but in the future, for sure, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like somebody went all the way from like Duluth to Antarctica on
right.
one,
Yeah.
so they're pretty versatile. It's
Yep.
pretty-
Yeah. You just have to pack light. You know, you have to pack differently, and you have to have a plan. And you know, if it doesn't work out, you know, turn around, come back, and get a canoe.
It's not too far away.
Nope.
Is it pretty light?
Yeah, they're right at 35 pounds for the 14-footer. So it's
bad.
yeah, it's less than a canoe weighs.
Yeah.
Even our solo canoes are right in that same range. So
That's to carry some paddleboards that were a bit on the heavy side.
I think mine is like 44 pounds, but I got a big one for yoga and stuff. So
yeah, these are the fancy ones made by Grey Duck. So they're made for the purpose. So
if you want to try stand-up paddleboard Boundary Waters trip, you know where to go.
yep. Come on up, and you can check them out and just go paddle around the lake too. So we have I can give you a class. It's pretty easy, but it's kind of fun to watch people the first time on a stand-up paddleboard. They don't have any confidence, and it's not as hard as you think. So it's you kind of got to talk yourself out of falling, really.
Yeah, really.
So I know it sounds stupid, but you can talk
your
yourself into falling if you want to. So
Yeah. Exploring the North Shore is sponsored by The Big Lake. The Big Lake is an approachable art gallery and gift shop located in the beautiful harbor town of Grand Marais, Minnesota, as well as online at thebigLakeLife.com. The Big Lake provides a beautifully curated and fun shopping experience to complement your North Shore adventures with artists and products that reflect the culture, values, allure, and lifestyle of the North Shore. Shop online at www.thebigLakeLife.com and use promo code EXPLORE for 15% off your first online order. Alrighty, so that was the interview with Carl Madsen, the owner of Rockwood Lodge and Outfitters. Be sure you check them out if you want to head up the North Shore and check out, you know, a day trip into the Boundary Waters, if you just want to do a boat rental and tootle around Poplar Lake, or if you want to do a full-blown trip into the Boundary Waters, that is a great place to enter from. So check them out. The other thing I mentioned earlier that I think is kind of important if you're coming up here right now is plan ahead.
Absolutely.
I don't know how you vacation, Martha, but I tend to wing it. I just sort of show up.
Okay, I've never vacationed on my own, but Mom, you get another shout out. My mom is like the queen of day one. We're going to do this, and this. I already got the tickets. Like, they know we're coming. Like, my mom is the queen of trip planning. She likes to make sure, like, we have our downtime, but we're going to go do stuff. And, like, we're really going to go see some things. So, and it works. It works. Every trip we've ever taken is just so full of super cool things. And, like, there's never a dull moment.
So be like Barb.
Yes, be like Barb.
That should be our next. Instead of plan ahead, it's just going to be like Barb. All right, we're adapting that for the podcast. You have to listen to this episode to understand that reference. Barb, of course, is Martha's mom. She is going to love this episode.
She is.
So be like Barb.
Yes.
Plan ahead. Know where you're going to want to eat. Check to make sure it's open that day because some things still are not open every day of the week. They're only open midweek to weekends. Book your lodging ahead of time. Part of what's happening with the COVID-19 response up here is places are requiring longer stays. A lot of the bigger lodges or bigger resorts even are requiring 3-night minimums, and then they're putting a 24-hour gap in between reservations. So if you think like a 3-night stay and then a 3-night stay, the gap might be like on Wednesday or even on Saturday or Sunday. Yep. There'll be a gap that you then can't book into. So be sure you go online and book your stay. If you want to come up now, check now. I'm sure you're going to find stuff. But if you want to come up in July, it's going to get harder and harder and harder. Plan now. Then keep an eye.
Barb.
Yes, be like Barb. Plan now, be like Barb. And know where you want to eat and what days, and make sure they're going to be open and what you need to do to order from them.
Don't starve yourself.
Don't starve yourself. The restaurants are here for you. The grocery stores are here for you. Now, up in Cook County, you currently cannot shop grocery stores in person.
See, I like this, though, because you know what it cuts out? Hungry shopping.
Yes.
When you go to the grocery store and you're super hungry and you're like, oh, that looks really good, but it's not on my list, but I'm hungry, so I'm going to buy it.
Yep. Online, there are the pictures of the grocery store aisles up here, so you can just look at the pictures and be like, all right, what kind of ketchups do they have? Oh, they have that one. I'm going to buy that one. Or you can just, like, they might not necessarily have their produce, whatever they have, so you just shoot them an email and be like, oh, we want, like, 2 boxes of strawberries and a bunch of bananas and apples and 2 pounds of beef. And they'll send you an email, or they'll actually call you back and be like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. Like, here's what we have. And they'll do the shopping for you. Then they'll call you for a credit card.
And it cuts out stuff on their end if you are very specific. Brand you want, exactly what you want.
Mm-hmm. So look at the pictures. Look what they have. You virtually walk around the grocery store, basically, and you can shop and then pick it up. So that might be intimidating for some people. I think it works well. I am familiar with our grocery stores, though, so I'm like, oh, I know what aisle this is on. I know what aisle that's on. I know they have my favorite Wild Country maple syrup for $11.99, so I'll just tell them I want the bottle of Wild Country maple syrup that costs $11.99.
See, I've lived here for 2 years, and I still couldn't tell you where anything is in either grocery store. I probably couldn't tell you anything about a grocery store in Duluth, and I grew up there.
There you go. So even Martha, who is not aware, was able to grocery shop, no problem.
I figured it out. If you would believe it, I only grocery shopped once. During that whole 2 months of...
Because you ate all my food. I'm just kidding.
No, I didn't. I just didn't eat. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so... There are options. You can eat up here, you can buy food, but you just have to think more ahead. And most places are open and waiting, and you can book. Like Carl said, it's kind of that double-edged sword. Is we don't want to tell you not to come up. Mm-hmm. We need tourism. We recognize that. We also recognize that you might need this. You might need that kind of getaway. Like you've been really cooped up. And you're like, my mental health is not good and I just need to get away somewhere. Mm-hmm. This is a good place to do it because there's a lot of outdoor recreation to do that's apart from other people. Just again, be aware, be prepared, plan ahead. Be like Barb.
Be like Barb.
So that's kind of our little message today is that, yeah, we're open. The North Shore is in its newest form open.
It's the new norm.
The new norm.
The new norm.
For now.
We'll reevaluate after summer
Yeah.
to what the new norm is. But
So, yeah. Again, we want to send our deepest condolences to the family of the young man who died on Tuscarora Lake, and emphasize again the importance. And again, we don't know the circumstances there. He could have been wearing a life jacket, been doing everything right, and tragic accidents just sometimes happen. Just like, be smart about being safe. Be super, super smart about being safe. Take it to the next level, because we do not, I mean, as a community as a whole, I can tell you, Grand Marais, Ely, like all these places surrounding the Boundary Waters, we want you to come up and we want you to enjoy the Boundary Waters, and we want you to go in and have that reconnection with nature, but we want you to be safe and come back out, you know, kind of with whatever you needed to get going in there. We hope you come out with it like that zen or relaxing or just reconnecting, whatever it is you need to do, clear your head. We hope you achieve that while also staying very safe. All right, so in the next coming couple of weeks, we're going to be kind of alternating between doing the history lessons that I've been doing, because you guys really seem to like those, and I actually really enjoyed doing them, just kind of looking up the history of like a building that I walked past so many times and I've never thought twice about. Turns out it has a really, really, really cool history. And like the 3 buildings here in town that burned down, like they're gone now. So you know, that history had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and we were able to look at the whole thing. Pretty cool. I mean, not cool that it burnt down, but just that that gave me the opportunity to look at the history and actually figure out what was going on with those buildings. And I was like, oh, wow, that was really cool. Like Grand Marais in the 40s and 50s seems like such a cool place. We had a lot of bars back then. And so we're going to be doing more history lessons and episodes, and we'll be getting into those. And then we're also going to be doing these outdoor recreation episodes, again focusing more on what you can do right now to safely social distance yourself from other people while still enjoying the beautiful, beautiful North Shore. So oh yes, and there will be a bucket list episode.
Yeah, we promise.
At some point. All right.
Uncrossing my fingers. We're not lying anymore. We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it. So, I'm Jay.
And I'm Martha.
And this has been Explore the North Shore, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.